So I've been kind of avoiding doing videos just because I know the video quality really stinks, and I've been trying to figure out how to do it better, but I can't figure it out, so you're just going to have to deal with it for now. Also, I've been doing the play You Can't Take It With You. I was assistant stage managing, so almost every night of the week I was backstage with the big headset on and doing calling cues and all that. Well, not calling cues, doing the cues. Anyway, and in between cues, I did a little bit of writing, and I could just sort of type it up and put it on the blog, but I think I'd rather just read it, save time. And this is one of those rare moments where my neighbor has wonderfully taken the kids out on a walk. So I put away laundry and I cleaned the bathrooms, and now I'm going to do a vlog. So here we go. Something I really want to talk about is boys, because you know I'm a girl and girls love talking about boys, like all the time. And specifically I want to talk about raising boys. And the thing is that all over the internet and all over Facebook and stuff, a lot of my friends are very concerned about how to raise girls and how to raise them to be smart, independent, strong women who don't feel that they have any limitations in a man's world, that sort of a thing. And also protecting girls from things like being abused, verbally, physically, sexually. And I find that in this discourse, we really do forget about the men and the boys in this picture, or if we do have them, we in the discourse, it's that they're a scapegoat. It's that, you know, the men are evil and the men are bad and they're the cause of all these problems, and we have to protect our girls from the evils of men. And I think that this is completely the wrong way to go about it. So, what I want to talk first of all a little bit about the history of the feminist movement. It's long, and it's been very difficult. You know, women trying to get the vote, even from the Declaration of the Rights of Man being followed by Olympe de Gouges writing the Declaration of the Rights of Women back in 1700s, to all the way up to the modern practice of obstetrics, where women are now starting to discover that rather than giving themselves completely over to a male doctor, that they are taking charge of their reproductive health. I'm not just talking about abortion, I'm talking about choosing to have a baby at home, which I did, choosing to have a midwife, and getting to know your own reproductive system and how that works, as opposed to just taking medication for birth control, all of that. But I'm going to talk about that another time. So the role of the status of and the status of women is constantly being changed and defined and redefined, but as that status is being defined and redefined, the status of men is also being defined and redefined, but not necessarily openly. So pretty much what I'm saying is that as the definition of a woman changes, so does the definition of a man. However, in this discourse, we seem to have missed that, and I'd like to open it up. So I want to talk about boys and or men, and what makes a man, you know, a man, manly man, whatever. I once asked a random stranger. I was working retail once, and I was talking about this with some of my coworkers. And I asked a random stranger, what is your definition of a man? What makes a man? And he was totally caught off guard, which I was kind of hoping for. And he must have been, you know, mid to late 20s. And his answer was this, and I love this answer. His answer was, a man works hard, plays hard, and is respectful. And I think that's it. That's all there is to it. And I really, really like this because it covers so much. Let's get an idea of what it covers. Works hard. You know, a man is the provider, or strives to be the provider. Sometimes a woman is the provider. I'm not going to get into those nitty-gritty details. He wants to make a mark on the world. He works hard, he's creative, he's ambitious, he's focused, he's resourceful, and has a professional attitude. He plays hard, he's creative, he has a sense of humor, he's focused and playful. He builds confidence in himself, encourages positive reinforcement for himself, and sets a good example. And that's a really, really big one. A good man sets a good example for their sons, nephews, and any other men that they come across. Setting a good example is paramount, and it's going to come up a lot, is respectful. And this is also really big. A good man is humble. He's kind. He's thoughtful, hygienic, because keeping yourself and your environment tidy is a form of respect. So I think that is in there as well. Creates a positive atmosphere and environment with his presence. Strives to make people happy and is generous. Now, I'm not just talking about generous like giving to charity, or I'm talking about a different kind of generosity, generosity of spirit. Listening to somebody when they need to talk, offering services, not just things, offering yourself to do something for somebody else. And this kind of generosity of spirit, I think, that goes for both sexes. That can be for men and women. I think it's something that mankind, men and women and mankind, need to be more aware of, need to be more willing to give. So that's sort of, in a nutshell, to me, what I found from asking around, what is a man? So let's see here. Now, what we need to do next is to educate the boys, the young boys. I have 2 sons, and I'm very concerned about educating them to be good men. So how do we do that? Who is responsible for educating boys to be good men? Well, everybody is. Teachers, parents, grandparents, peers, friends, everybody is. And how do we do this? We do this by, first of all, this is very important to remember. We abolish the presumption that all men are bad. This is very important. We teach respect and that generosity of spirit that I was talking about earlier. Positive reinforcement is very, very important. We find good role models who do not abuse, who do not ignore, who set a good example, and who don't ignore their boys. They don't abuse their boys. They don't ignore their women, and they don't abuse their women. This is very important. We have to teach them that it is okay to express feelings and thoughts. And this lesson is also for both sexes, because sometimes women feel that they are not entitled to express their feelings and thoughts. And a lot of men feel like it's not manly to do that, and we have to abolish that presumption as well. We have to build confidence without arrogance in our boys and in our men, which is very important. And we really need to educate the boys not to be abusers. The reason why this problem keeps coming up and why there's so much out there about protect the women and teach your young girls and young women to be strong and fight back and all of that, the reason why this problem keeps occurring is because there's not enough attention being paid to teaching young boys how to be good men. There's not enough attention being paid to teaching boys not to abuse, to be respectful, to respect other people's wishes, their personal space, and just to be nice. So that's the message that I really want to sort of put out there. And for myself as a mother of 2 boys, I really feel like I can do a lot of good in the world by teaching them to be respectful and to be polite and to be generous, generosity of spirit. And they in turn can be good role models for their peers and for their friends. And I absolutely entreat all the men out there, really think about what you do, what you say when you're out there in the world. Try to be a good role model for the young boys, because that is how we are going to abolish violence. That is how we are going to save women from being abused over and over again. We have to stop the cycle, and that is so important. So those are my thoughts. That's how I talk about boys. I'll see you next time.